Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome to the late Apex. Today we'll be discussing iRacing's controversial Daytona 24 hours. We'll also be discussing the newest stuff as well when it comes to Assetto Corsa Evo with the early access of the game being released just 7 days ago. And we'll also be discussing a simulator that you probably never have even heard of, but has been making positive waves over the weekend as well. My name is Sam Patrick. Alongside me is David Sampson. David, how have you been?
Busy. New sims. The Daytona 24 was... it's a long race.
The longest. I can't think of any longer race that I've done. Have you ever done a 25-hour race? I think they exist, but
no.
And you can do them in iRacing, or at least the maximum session
Correct.
length.
Yeah.
So you could do 5-minute practice or 5-minute quali, 24-hour, 55-minute race. I've never done one of them, but yeah, I have heard them be used in the past. Thanks as well to Apex Racing Simulators as well for presenting this episode as well. Do check out apexracingsim.com for more details. You can buy yourself some VRS hardware as well as cube controls and Husingfeld equipment as well from Apex Racing Sim. And you can also visit our Sim Center here in Corby. Use our studio if you so wish. And of course, we can also design you an entire rig as well if you just want to spend some money and get a rig ready completely there. We can design that for you, send it to wherever you live, in the UK at least, and yeah, get that sorted for you. So plenty of solutions being offered by ARS. Do check out Apex Racing Sim for more details. Let's discuss first up Daytona 24. Yep. And it was the first Daytona 24 with rain, and it made an awful big difference. Maybe before we get into these top split guys who, you know, come and go, it's not that significant, let's talk about your event. How did it go? I genuinely haven't had a chance to discuss it with you.
It was good. Qualifying, which I handled, I dropped a 10.5, okay? And I was a little bit annoyed. It's easy when you're nervous at the bus stop and, you know, a few of the corners are locking up. But unfortunately, that split was so competitive. 1.5 tenths meant, no joke, 14 positions.
Wow, okay.
But we told ourselves, it doesn't matter, really long race. As long as we get through T1, lap 1, bus stop, good, then we're good. And yeah, the first 5 hours went off smooth, slowly moving up positions, but really happy. And then our third driver was coming out of pit road, and you know the exit lane to the left, like you've exited pit road, you're coming down the exit road. GTP just opened up the corner, smashed it into a wall. We went 6 laps down. Morale was absolutely zero. And then the rain came down. We had a very, very fast team. Fast enough to think, okay, let's pray. Let's spend the next 10 hours playing catch up. And we did. We finished P7. Morale, yeah, we were really, perhaps we could have got 5th. But after our comeback, we didn't class it as unlucky. Like 7th. Yeah, so all in all, apart from being very tired, still really happy.
Yeah, and how much rain was there?
It just didn't stop. Like,
okay, yeah,
20%.
Sure.
Started raining, I don't know, let's say hour 6, 7, I can't remember.
Really, that early?
I can't really remember. It was trauma, the most of the start of the race. And then, yeah, it just didn't stop. And then when it did stop, it gave about a 2-hour lull, then came back in.
Sure.
Pretty much.
Well, in the top split, Apex Racing team had a very, very good time of it. A fantastic result. LMP2 winners for the 3rd time in 4 years. We didn't win it last year, but in 2022, 2023, and now 2025. And Vasquez raced from the Sim Center as well. I had the opportunity to have a chat with him last week when he arrived. He was racing alongside Dan Amore, Daniel Sirisabe, and Jordan Johnson. So congratulations to those guys. They came from, I think, like 4 laps down or something at one point and just absolutely charged through in the
I know they had a big comeback on their hands.
Yeah, a lot of mistakes from the teams ahead, and so it was a massive effort. Also, congratulations to Alex Gao and Marcus Solholm. They had issues very early on in the race, but then were faultless from then on. And I think were near the back at one point in the GTPs and managed to end up in P2 in
again, another comeback story. But that's what was so beautiful about the rain this time round. It gave this opportunity for staying in the race.
And usually you'd get to the last 6 hours and it's just a case of converting what you've done. Whereas this time it's all to play for.
Yeah, because we may very well have pulled out had the rain not come. Because a couple of hours in after this, we're 6 laps back, 5 laps back off the nearest competitor. Morale, as you know, was low. So yeah, the rain added an awesome dynamic.
Absolutely. And also worth mentioning as well that GTP car of Gal and Solholm was just those 2, which is an insane effort to do.
I get asked a lot, and my answer is always no.
No, yeah, I would not consider it whatsoever. Not a chance.
No.
So, yeah, well done to them. But let's discuss the controversy. Ferrari using a tactic which you feel like iRacing's been around for a while, and you sort of expect all these exploits to have been used by now. But I think it's almost... Some people think about it. No doubt a lot of people think about it, but they choose not to do it. Or the people who do it are in insignificant races or are insignificant drivers. But they did it on the biggest stage, did Ferrari. They were going to hit the wall, basically. They were trying to lap a GTD car, locked a tyre going into the turn 3 hairpin at Daytona. And, well, this happened. We've got a clip of it. Let's see if this what there you go. Oh,
3.7 seconds that year, 10 seconds for Apex in the last LMP2 when that was the top class. That was ahead of Commanders.
So for those who didn't see, they locked up. They were clearly going into the wall and probably going to hit the wall with some speed, and their car magically disappeared.
So to add, when it's wet like that, if you're wondering why they didn't try and recover it, when it's wet like that, if you lock, you're not turning even on the gravel, let alone the grass.
Yeah,
you're gone. So yeah, as Sam was saying, they all F4'd, bypassing all damage, and when they got back in the car, all that they had lost themselves was the tow time. Yes. Message from chat, which also is part of why we're discussing it. To be fair, it was super quick reactions. Driver comment is it wasn't premeditated. Sure. I've watched it a few times, and I like the driver, but I mean, it was a button map to his wheel, right?
Sure. What was the quote that I saw, which he posted on X, was, "I would like to make a formal apology for the incident that occurred during the Daytona 24. The disconnect to avoid damage option was not pre-planned, and this was an error on my part, not the team. I completely understand the stewards' decisions."
Why would they get back in? If this wasn't planned, right? Why would they have the foresight to get back in the car? If you've raged quit,
sure,
you're not like, okay, you're in. It's like, wait, we're still racing. Yeah. This was an unplanned error, but we're on strat.
Yeah.
Um,
And obviously, whether it's deliberate or not, like
So,
you still take advantage
the other
of
thing
such a thing.
from how quick the reaction was is I don't say the word guarantee. I predict it was practiced in the sense of
Oh, yeah.
where the cutoff point is. If you get to the grass, would the damage still incur? You know, where is the cutoff? Where do I have to make the decision early enough for this not to lose me extra time? But I mean,
I think we can all agree, absolutely warranted DQ. Like, there's no question
100%.
about it. Yeah.
it's even worse because, yes, it's the main stage, but I don't know about you. Obviously, I'm an Apex fan, but the team I was following closest was the Ferrari team. Why? Because they're finally taking it serious. They finally got some big drivers. Like, they've had drivers before, but they're usually ports from ACC or, some upcomer kid or, I don't know. What I mean is they've never seemed to take it serious like Redline Apex. And this year, I saw their driver lineup and I was like, whoa, like, and their social media. And I was like, this is awesome. They qualified well. And I was like, okay, you've got Max Verstappen in the car. You've got the biggest stage, the biggest track, the biggest attendance, and Ferrari are there kicking ass. So, of course, I was keeping a keen eye. And then, obviously, I got sent that clip. And, I mean, I don't know. We're used to exploits to go quicker, not exploits to remove, I would say, an estimated 9 minutes.
Yeah, you know the cars better than me. I mean, it looked like he was going to go square into the wall at least, so it wouldn't have been too much steering damage necessarily. But yeah, would have taken the nose off the car, most likely. Verstappen did the same thing a couple of times.
Wait, to be clear, Verstappen crashed, not all F4.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Verstappen crashed a couple of times.
Verstappen did the
at that
exact
corner.
same thing, but stayed with it.
Yes, yeah. And he also sped on pit road twice. I guess
Amateur.
you probably found this, that, of course, the apron was still
Yeah, we practiced
wet.
it, so we had a line that was good, and
yeah.
we broke early enough.
Sure, yeah, it helps, yeah. So
But then again, he's quick enough to be 40 seconds a stick quicker than me, so
Sure.
who really did practice?
so they had a chance of, they were leading, I think, with 6 hours to go, but did not win. They finished in third in the end. It was a GoodandGo.com esports who ended up winning the race. And of course, that Apex Racing team car, the GTP, managing to finish in second place.
So the thing you probably didn't see, but I feel you in, because we're talking about drama here, and there was more, but it was weird drama, because obviously VCO had put out the winners, the
I
picture.
did see this.
Yeah, so they got the Ferrari, the Apex car, and I apologise, I can't remember who won in GTD.
I want to say it was Williams, but I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
I think. Anyway, regardless. So they put out the poster. Ferrari obviously got DQ'd. So they put out a new poster. But randomly, the new poster didn't have Apex winning LMP2.
Yeah.
So I, obviously, as a apparent ambassador to Apex for all people, I got lots of messages like, one of them just said, what did Aaron do? I was like, regarding what? I was like, they were like, oh, Apex has been DQ'd. I was like, well, I was like, I have no idea about this. And then I realised it's just an error. But yeah, I mean, it looked amazing, didn't it? So is that the original?
I guess this is the original, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Redline, apologies, who won GTD.
Yeah, so then when they put out the second brochure, the second poster, it didn't have Apex winning.
Yeah, I'm sure they've deleted it now, but
yeah,
this was the final one, which was correct in the end.
Yeah, that's an awesome picture, by the way.
It really is, yeah.
Really, really awesome.
And indicative of the race as well. If it hadn't have rained, it would have been a very irrelevant thing to have rain on it. But the amount of rain very much was representative in the poster. So yeah,
but it was a bad, like, of all the. It would be nice to have a Daytona 24 that's not ruined by all this, and the leaders are less talked about than the incident. Kind of like this is the theme we keep getting. The winners 2 years in a row have been DQ'd, essentially.
Did it happen last year? Spets wasn't last year.
It's year before,
yeah.
Every other year.
Every other year. And of course, we've had controversy in the past as well. I remember there was the year where you had the one of the teams, was it Radicals, ran what their team was all using the same account or something because they were all using the same rig, but on like the same account, and therefore people saying, well, they haven't done the fair share. But then there were rumors that, but they got approved by iRacing.
See, I've
And
wondered
that
this
happened
before.
in like 2020, I think.
Obviously, I have a rig, and I have people wanting to come over and do, like, I don't know, Petit Le Mans. And they're like, we could two-man it. I was like, we can't. Because in the pits, we can't log out of iRacing quick enough. And, like, I wish they had a system for that. Like, when you register for an event, you could declare 2 drivers for the rig. Like, it would be nice. Because I said we'd have to 3-man it. Like, I go first, someone online
But of course,
does the
there's
second.
no verification for that, is there?
No, I mean, you could do it legit. If I do the first stint, then someone who's not at my house does the next stint, and then I log out, log in with their account, and they then drive the last stint. That will work. You just can't. You can't run stints together like next to each other. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good race. I didn't get to watch all of top split. I was just checking in a lot. I knew they were getting DQ'd. People were like, with all these a million reasons what it could have been. No, it's like, watch the clip.
Yeah.
Now, if they'd have stayed gone, they wouldn't have been DQ'd and this wouldn't have been a problem. But they came back to the race. I think that's where people get it wrong. I know lots of streamers that auto F4. Like, lots. I personally don't do it. Because it is bannable. Because, not bannable, if you were all F4 in a straight after an instant, right? And your car carries on and plows someone out, they protest you, you're done.
Yeah.
Because it's your car. Yeah, you all F4 in doesn't count as being out. But what's new is all F4 in and then rejoining and carrying on the race. That's a new one.
Yeah.
And I thought about it. How do you fix this?
I don't think you
No.
can. I think you just have to make it a case of, like, I guess the only way would be that you have like no, you can't even have a lag. I was thinking you could potentially have it so that sort of when you are F4, the car just still exists in the sim for
Correct.
5 seconds.
I thought about everything, and the only way is, yes, your car has to exist for longer.
Yeah, but I think that would just be a menace. When you, like you said before, if you are F4 and you wipe out someone, that person's like, well, why did their car still exist?
Well,
like,
yeah, because if
that's
someone's
just ruined my
iRacing,
race.
they're driving into T1 and their iRacing actually crashes on the straight. Yeah, now we've got a 250k missile.
Yeah.
So that's why they make the car disappear. Yeah, there is no easy fix. I've gone through all the variations in my head.
Unless you just apply a penalty, right?
Yeah,
like
how long? 4 minutes?
Like, yeah,
They're
5
still at
minutes
4?
or something. Well, yeah, I guess it's damage, right?
Correct.
Like, damage is...
Yeah, I thought about this as well. Even a 5 min pen. Now, the other thing, you know, we hate patches. A 5 min pen also means when you're racing in endurance and your PC actually crashes and you rejoin, you've also got a 5-minute pen. When wasn't the PC crashing penalty enough? You know, like, it's hard, this, really hard.
I mean, you could go for the very old-fashioned the logic, and Virtual Le Mans, I think, has done this as well. If you crash, towing is fictional, right? Like, we go on about simulating real-life events. Like, the idea that you can tow back a car in a minute and a half is fantasy.
Yes.
Right? So you could argue that you should get rid of towing, but I very much disagree with that. So I imagine some people have been arguing that.
We're not naming names or teams or anything, but on the main stage in Top Split, there was others that attempted this.
It's an odd one how, or not odd necessarily, but it shows that a lot of these people know how to do this stuff. It happened with this grass dipping as well. Grass dipping was known for years before it was exploited at Spa in 2022. But it just takes one person to do it, and then that's the floodgates open. And so, like, there's probably other stuff. There's definitely other exploits that you could use in iRacing.
What I should have done is cranked his wheel to max left, and then auto forward, and then say Fanatec, and everyone would have known what he meant.
You need a button which does both.
Wheel left.
Yeah.
And then off.
Yeah.
Wheel failure. Yeah. That's what you missed.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Let's talk about AC EVO next, because I think that's the most significant one. Of course, it's been out now for the last 7 days. How have you found it? I haven't had a chance to drive it yet, but What are your impressions during the first week?
Okay, so AC EVO for the first week has been a lot of fun. Obviously, it is what it is. I would first of all talk about what they released on early access. So I was here in the studio when it got released. I actually missed out on nothing because it went really badly for the first 5 hours with an early access that was too early, that the game wasn't even out. Then when it did come out, I think it was almost built in. I misunderstood, but basically the early access came out with a portion that would be downloaded, but the online servers were down so hard that you only had limited number of cars. By the time I got home and everything, this got patched. They released an update with all the cars. So I drove all the cars, all the tracks, in all the weather conditions. The AI, it's just, even on max, they just brake too early, and they've got hyper traction on their way out. Okay, great. I did find it's one of those sims where turning off TC goes quicker, which is not super what I love. Triples may work, but there's no FPS. Like, there's not enough FPS to do anything fun. So I was actually running it on single on high settings rather than triples on low settings. Sound is good. The force feedback's pretty good in a lot of the cars. The Porsche Cup was awful. Like,
Okay, yeah.
no, it was, force feedback felt disgusting. Yeah, so they really need to work on the triple support. Like, it works. Everything about triple works. The curvature, how you set it up, everything's fantastic. It's just so bad performance. Driving on my own, on everything on low, with a strong PC, 75 FPS on my own on track with no rain. Add dark rain, multiple cars, medium settings, and it's unplayable. What was more exciting, in their Discord, they announced a beta release of the online area. So that includes the Driver Academy, earning XP. I have 1.5 million now, yep. And car purchasing. So the Driver Academy, very Gran Turismo-esque. You jump in, there's 6 sections, ranging from essentially the road cars all the way up to your mastery of race cars. And it is very Gran Turismo, where you, you know, like, okay, take corner 1. And you just keep repeating it till you get the right lap time. And then take the next 2 corners in the rain. Do that until you do it. Take 2 of the, like, one of the hairpins at a certain time. And then the final task is do a full lap in the car you've been doing to prove yourself. And there's a 1, 2, and a 3-star system. 3 stars is what, you know, you go for. And then there's 6 categories. Essentially, they don't really get harder. You're just driving harder cars, let's say. I wanted to do it in under 6 hours. That's the goal I set. And 5 hours, 59 minutes, and 34 seconds. Only because I one-shotted the last task. Bathurst, just full focus. I really enjoyed it. But then I was really reminded when I completed that there's nothing to do.
Sure.
Yeah, I had 1.5 million in credits, and I could buy a car or rent one. But I didn't sort of understand what that meant, because there's nothing to do. Like, I'll just go test drive a car. Like, what am I buying?
So, yeah, you got access to all the cars anyway, test drive.
Yeah. And that was so limited. Like, you was like, so I bought a Volkswagen Golf GTI. I was like, brilliant, in orange. And it was like, no, there's no orange in color. I was like, oh, okay, you can pick the interior trim, black or black. I was like, black. Alloy wheels, it says select color. I was like, bush, black or black. I was like, okay. So this is early access.
Sure.
Like, colors aren't there. Yeah, so I enjoyed it. FPS is awful. Single screen's fine. They really do need to work. Quality to FPS, it is the worst. Because it has the highest looking quality. It has really good looking graphics, really good sound, but the FPS is, it makes Rennsport look super optimized.
Well, I mean, there was a clip that I liked on Reddit that I saw, which showed Bathurst in night conditions.
Yeah.
And the thing that I noticed was the lights, like just how...
Yeah, I mean,
it's so it doesn't like leak, it doesn't bleed anywhere, the lights. The lights are totally focused on one bit.
It is really nice looking. Yeah, and look at the red brake lights on the track. Like, it really does feel good. It's just so badly optimized. And yeah, the AI brakes so early. Maybe I haven't seen this clip, but watch. they're just dangerous. The amount they brake and how early they brake and how hard they brake every corner. And that's on maximum strength. And their exits are always super hyper high traction. But I'm not really an AI sort of, it's not my thing anyway.
Well, it's got to be your thing for the next 6 months on this game. Because there's not going to be anything else.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. They've got a long way to go. And I don't know. I'm a bit annoyed they charged 30 quid for a super early access. I mean, they sent it to me for free, so I didn't spend my own money. And had I not got the Driver Academy, I would have been pretty frustrated, to be honest. There's not 30 quid's worth of doing the game. But I did hear that I think within a week, they're going to be pushing out that Driver Academy to everyone to try who bought the game. And the online XP, car purchasing, and you can change your wheels to one colour. That's all coming. So
cool, yeah. There was just one other thing as well I saw of the dash. I don't know if you've fiddled with the dash at all, but this was in a Hyundai, and all the lights and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
nicely.
It really does feel good, Tom, not going to lie. Like, is this a VR test or are they just manipulating the monitor?
I think they're just... I think it's just phoning on a phone, looking at their monitor.
Yeah, no, I can't complain. I mean, I will, depending on the next lot of releases. I'd love to see them just sort out the triple, because, yeah, I've been driving this entire time on singles, which are not the kind of thing I enjoy.
Fuji's coming quite soon, and of course, you were discussing before we even went live about special events. Apparently, there's going to be a new special event, but from what you said, it's just drive a car around the track.
I was knackered after doing the Driver Academy, so I didn't really have I was tired. So I didn't understand what the special events were. They were just like, oh, here's a car and at a track and these are the conditions. Go lap. And I was like, no. I was doing everything for the last 6 hours for medals, mate. I'm not just a lap for no reason. So we'll keep an eye on how that progresses.
Let's move on to NASCAR 25. Not a whole lot of news on NASCAR 25, but it has been confirmed that Monster Games, who of course are owned by iRacing, of course releasing this year's edition, and it will feature 4 categories of cars, which it's got the Cup cars, the Xfinity cars, the Truck cars, and the ARCA Menards cars as well. Which are the 4 biggest classes in NASCAR. Previous games have only had the Cup cars. The Monster Games from the past have had multiple tiers, but yeah, the last couple have only had Cup cars, so that's going to be a good element of it. And I think it's going to be the case that you're going to be starting in ARCA, of course, the lowest division of NASCAR, and moving your way up through the order. And I think this was known before anyway, but they've also said that they are aiming for a fall release, so 9 months away before the game gets released.
Yeah, it's the same date as AC Evo. Fall, I think. So, yeah, we've got 2. I saw this. I saw the poster they put out of the 4 categories of... I mean, good luck to them. I said, I think when we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, when we was discussing this, that they need something. Because, again, like I said before, nobody on the outside knows the behind the scenes are changing. Like you've been to a restaurant once and the food and service was awful. Just because you replace all the management and all the chefs and cooks does not mean that customers like, I know now it could be better. They've already been let down. And the past titles have been, I mean, critically the worst in their history. So they need to make sure people are aware to give this another shot.
Absolutely. It always seems like a bit of a given that you have. I wasn't surprised when I saw that it had 4 categories. Well, maybe 4 is important or impressive to have ARCA in there as well. 3 would maybe be enough for a lot of people. But yeah, 4 is good. And then, yeah, the fact that the previous games have only had 1. Even the F1 games nowadays don't have F3, I believe. I think they just have F2 and F1.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just the feeder series, yeah.
Quite small scale.
This is the picture I saw.
Yep.
There you go. That's what I came across, which is good. I say it's not the world I am best familiar with, but even I saw that they're trying to appeal to a wider audience of their NASCAR people. So, yeah, I mean, good luck to them.
Definitely. Let's talk about The Last Garage. Because this
Yes.
is a sim that we have talked about in the past, but a while back. I think it must have been at least 6 months ago since we last mentioned this. The story of it is the guy who was very influential in making R Factor
Mhm.
and a couple of other games seemingly went on like leave, and then in a couple of weeks he basically like built the physics engine for a new game.
It
like,
was when
totally from
Motorsport
scratch.
Games bought Studio 397.
Yeah,
he just
left,
felt
yeah.
like it's my time to move on.
So he basically, made very quickly a physics engine. Sort of the plan for it was that it would be sold to whoever wanted it. Of course, rather than using Unreal, for example, you could use this base instead. However, it seems like he's been influential in sort of developing this game, Last Garage. And we're not quite sure what it's going to be like at the moment, but we had the Sim Formula Europe event in Maastricht in the Netherlands at the weekend, and they actually did a race. They did a LAN event in it, and so it sort of gives us the first footage of people driving on it, and they were racing at Anglesey, which isn't a track that we see a whole lot in sim racing.
Suspension looks really good in this. My worry is the force feedback from everything I heard from the people that were there, and even the Overtake guys, Overtake GG were there. Force feedback is, I mean, it's not an easy thing to overcome building your own sim. And obviously graphics are, I mean, let's be real, it's R Factor 1 at best.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason the FPS is probably even playable is because there are no graphical elements other than the cars and the flat asphalt. I just worry, like, licenses and, like, there's, like, how do you go from this to putting in a car or a track that people even have heard of? How do you get into Lagos and an F3 and a Ford Mustang? Like,
Sure, yeah.
You know, how do they go? How does this? Yeah.
Yeah, it's unclear, and they were using the BAC mono single seater, by the way, if anyone was curious. And at the moment, they are giving away very few details about what the sim's actually going to be. I mean, potentially it could just be like a really small scale game where you have a few British tracks, a few like slow speed cars.
So I'm on the board at Motorsport UK. The most expensive tracks in the planet for licensing are not Spa, Monza,
Sure,
Daytona.
it's
All the British tracks. Yeah. Yep. You'll pay more for Brands Hatch than you will Spa. Pay more for Thruxton than you will Monza. It's insane, but you know, us Brits, we like to make our money. Yeah, so let's see. I don't know. It's tough right now because the sim space has never been so competitive, and these people, Kunos are backed. Kunos went live with an early access and had 25,000 concurrent people playing because they have something to come from. We've seen what Le Mans Ultimate have been managed to do against the tide, let's say, but that was with money. Yeah, it was again like people almost didn't want it to succeed, and they pushed through that and did okay. I don't know if it's survivable. Like if you had if the last garage was as successful as LMU, would that be enough? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think at the moment, like it is such small scale, like it's difficult to see them really building a game which rivals those stuff, and instead, I don't know, it'd just be like a cheap 20 quid game, which they try to get a lot of people through the door. Not sure, but it was an 8-car race, $10.5 grand.
Yeah, I heard.
Euros prize pool, which is quite a bit. Had a very strong field. It was Devin Braun who managed to win ahead of a few of the
Michi Hoyer, right?
Yeah, a few of the ESL R1 guys. We had Michi Hoyer and I think Van Buren, who of course won World's Fastest Gamer many years ago. Wizineski? That is Wizineski, right? Nikodem Wizineski.
Yeah, ESL.
Bono Huis, of course, ESL, and Yuri Kasdorp as well.
Yep.
So it was a stacked field. So congratulations to Devon. I don't know how that worked in terms of practice, where they just rocked up, because I don't think there was a download available for any of them before the event.
I
think
don't
just
know.
walked
I
up
could
and
ask, but I never did.
tried.
I assume practice was done there, but I really don't know.
Yeah, and there were a few other bits as well from Sim Formula Europe. We haven't made notes, and there was nothing especially interesting from what I saw. But if you are curious about any of the exhibitions that were held at Maastricht, do check out Overtake and Traction and Co.
The funny video where I think it's the video you're watching. At one point, he's talking to the lead dev while driving, and he can't stop spinning off.
Oh, really?
So he's
Yeah.
chatting about, oh yeah, it's whoom, and then he's whoom, and like trying to have a serious conversation while the guy's just nobody knows this track.
Yeah. There's no reference markers.
No.
It's just green and black,
Yeah.
and you're trying to aim for the
I
black.
thought it was so funny. Trying to discuss force feedback in a professional manner as he's looping it into every corner.
Well, I think that is all of the news. I think we've got a game.
Yes.
We've got another tier list. We've done a few of these recently, and hopefully everyone's appreciating our new overlay thing as well. Sim racing brands. Now you're going to have to take the lead on this, and I'll take.
No. You know most of them.
Well, but I haven't tried many of them.
Okay, but
that's the
we
thing.
could go for image as well. What
Sure.
it
Oh,
speaks
yeah.
to people.
Well, yeah,
Because the
it-
average person definitely hasn't tried all these.
If this was perceptions of sim racing brands, then
Yes.
I would be good at
Perfect.
this.
Let's do perception, because I haven't used half of this stuff either.
Okay, so we'll go for branding, shall we?
Correct.
In terms of brand. So this isn't necessarily quality of product, but it's
I think all encompassing.
all encompassing. Yeah.
All encompassing.
Or most likely to buy from and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Fanatec, I think I'm questioning A minus. No, let's change this. C, D, F. There you go. Fanatec.
I mean,
think
C is a passing.
So you're going. I mean, I honestly would go for A for this. I know that obviously they got a bad rep at the moment. However, I don't think you can deny that it is an incredibly popular brand, and fundamentally, most of their products are still very reasonably priced, considering the quality.
All right, salesman. Yeah, I mean, had you asked me this before the Black Friday thing, it would have definitely been higher.
Yes, yeah.
I've always been frustrated with their software. I've been sim racing full time for 5 odd years. 99% of the hardware I have, when I turn on my rig, I just go racing. That 1% of the time, I had all Fanatec gear, and oh my god, just why is my DD not detected? You have to roll back the firmware. It drove me nuts. Yeah, sure, I'll allow it.
Well, we can compromise and go for B.
Perfect.
VRS. Well, obviously yes.
S, yeah.
Okay. One of the best sim racing brands. Check out apexracingsim.com. Sim Magic.
They're not. I've never heard a bad word. There you go. That's my best comment about them. They don't have the best. I mean, their image has been cleaned up. I'd say the last year. It feels like. It's hard, isn't it? I'm thinking like.
I'm thinking D.
Really?
Yeah, because so my picture of Sim Magic is not going to be either the best quality stuff or the best value for money stuff. And because the scale isn't there that maybe Fanatec have or what Moser have, yeah, you sort of just know that it's not going to be necessarily the best quality or best value for money stuff. But I'm willing to go for C.
C, yeah, they can't
Yeah.
go in D. They've done nothing wrong. That's my
No.
point.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
never tripped.
SimuCube, I think S, honestly.
I think S.
Yeah.
I mean, how they've every product work. Yeah, all right. They lean on the higher end, the Apple
Oh yeah,
model.
absolutely. But that's fine. If it is the highest,
Correct.
then that's your market.
And if people didn't buy it, then it's bad, right? If they really are outpricing themselves, then it's a D grade. But they sell.
But yeah, it's a huge market as well for like just millionaires, where it's like, well, I want the best possible rig. I'll just get the best rig
Correct.
that I can get.
Yeah.
So I'll just go for SimuCube stuff. So that's a huge market.
Yep.
And so it's absolutely. Thrustmaster, I think if someone asked me, I I sort of want to get into sim racing, but I'm not sure exactly what equipment I want to get. I would recommend to them a T128. Like, I think that's probably the best starter wheel at this point. Super cheap, and it works very well as far as I'm aware. It's just as good as a Logitech G29. So I would honestly go B with Thrustmaster. Obviously, for us lot, when it comes to direct drive, I wouldn't go to them. When it comes to pedals, I wouldn't go to them.
They are, yeah, okay, but they do, because we're hanging on to the past a little bit. Do you agree? Like,
but the T128 is only got released a couple of years ago, and it's still basically best in the market for that price range.
Right. I'm not the biggest Thrustmaster fan, but they've never done anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's just my first piece of sim hardware was Thrustmaster.
And of course, they don't last very long. Like, we've got Thrustmaster and Logitech, which are very much similar markets, where they go for budget wheels and have sort of ventured, but quite half-heartedly, into higher-end equipment. Logitech, I think B.
B, A, I don't know. It was my first wheel, so I'm romantically...
Oh, absolutely. I mean, most of my sim racing life I've spent with a Logitech.
Correct.
So
if the G29 brake pedal had been stiff or had a half-baked load cell, I would have lasted another year on it. I spent so long on that. Even when I got load cell from Fanatec, I kept my G29. I still used it. I miss it. It never hurt your wrist, you know? You didn't need to wear gloves.
No, and to be fair, when I went downstairs, when I started working here a few years ago and started using like a proper high-end rig for the first time, it's tiring, man.
Yep.
All the steering and the screens are right in front of your face, and like the pedals are hard, and you drive 20 minutes and you're like, and you've had enough. My old Logitech, just drive 3 hours, absolutely fine. So there is something to be said against direct drive. As a tech, I was thinking A or B.
They're not S tier because they do. The pricing's not always right. They must be burning millions in marketing.
I'm happy to go for A.
A, I think.
It's sort of innovative. They feel like they're new.
The perception is cool.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got a full Aztec rig, it's a good Instagram. Like, I feel like their brand is strong. Yeah, very strong.
Cube controls. I think another brand who I don't think have done anything wrong necessarily, but
I just realized this video is going to be no good for my sponsorship opportunity. But I'm not.
Prove me wrong.
I'm not a Cube fan. My biggest problem with Cube controls was just how many wires we go through. It's I remember contacting them one time, bit behind the story. I think I had 3 wires break over the years. Contacted them, they were going to send me another. And I think I remember saying to them, send me 5 or don't send me any.
Sure.
I don't want to speak to you ever again. Send me 5 or I'm just not using this wheel anymore. I want to, when it breaks, just put another one on, not contact you and wait 3 weeks. 5 or no, 5 or none. But their wheels are top quality. They are used by huge esport teams. All of that wheel connector stuff has massively changed for all the magnetic connectors over the years. They're priced well. They look good. And that was years ago.
C for Cube.
We've
gone S for SimuQ, A for Azatec. I think we should go C for Cube.
Yep.
Husinkveld.
S.
I'm willing to go for S.
I don't think they've ever missed a beat.
Do they do direct drive wheels?
Nope.
Husinkveld. It's just pedals, isn't it? Pretty much.
Sprints, Ultimates, and Ultimate Pluses. The shifter, the handbrake.
And I think there is something to be said for just staying in your lane in terms of not branching out and just saying, yeah, we do this really well and we're going to continue doing it really well.
Correct, yeah.
So, very quality. And of course, if you want to, we do have Husinkveld pedals, I believe, on Apex Racing Simulators. So, do check out apexracingsim.com. Venom. I'm not familiar with Venom.
I know they did a wheel or something, but I'm not enough familiar with them to put them anywhere.
Shall we change this to an F and put an NA, I think?
Yep.
at the bottom.
But does that mean nah?
Moser. Honestly, for me, S, I think. When I'm thinking,
I was thinking
high-end equipment for...
It's crazy, right? Because Moser and Sim Magic were these... the perception you described of Sim Magic was also the perception of Moser,
Sure.
and they somehow have managed to just delete that.
Mm.
I mean, the iPhone's made in China, but the perception's gone. Moser, perception's gone.
Yeah.
You're led to believe. You said earlier that Sim Magic feels like it's cheaply made, and but that perception, Moser have completely washed.
Sure. Well, so I think with Sim Magic, I wouldn't say necessarily cheaply made, but sort of it's good, but it's it's good quality equipment, but it's more expensive. Whereas I think of Moser as being almost stupidly cheap.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, S tier
I
for
think
Moser.
S, yeah. I'm not sure what that is. C.
See if you can right-click and do open the image. See if it might give the name. If it's an embedded image. No, I don't know then. Hit inspect. We'll just try one wing in it. What does it say in the right? No, I don't know. I don't know the name.
Not sure.
We'll come back to that if someone
NA.
in chat knows what that means.
I don't know what the V means either.
No, it's not promising.
GSI? I would
Uh,
say A. This is another brand, I think, similar to Simicube, where it's absolutely top of the top of the top, where it's just silly, sort of. It's the type of stuff that you dream of, that 9-year-old F1 fans see a GSI wheel and they think, imagine owning that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, end of the day, a GSI looks nicer than what any real-life driver will have in any real-life car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, have they ever missed? I don't think they've missed the mark.
So are you thinking
ever.
S?
I don't know if they've missed anything. Yes, again, they're very expensive, and they probably help shift prices up because other companies are like, oh, wait, we can do that.
Yeah.
So we're just going to add more buttons and lights and toys and stuff, and we'll charge more. So they probably sent the industry a little bit up. But like I said, with Simicube, people bought their stuff, so they didn't make a mistake.
Well, I'm willing to trust your opinion with S. SGR. Do you know that one?
No. I mean, even if I find out, that's probably not going to help. SGR. No. Maybe SGR made this tier list and we're like, oh, if we add ourselves. No, I don't know. Oh, Asher.
Asher. I like we've got a couple of Asher rims downstairs, which I've tried, and I like them.
Yeah,
I think they're very functional. They're very practical for sim races.
I felt like Asher walked in, released one of the best made wheels, mic drop, walked away, and thought they never need to come back to the stage. Came back, I'm like, whoa, it's changed a bit. There's now 9,000 companies will sign the deal with McLaren. And like, I love Asher. They've never done a mistake, but they slept for a while, didn't they? I mean, I don't remember them doing anything for... I remember when I got into sim racing, Asher was the wheel I dreamt about. I mean, GSI wasn't even a company then. Yeah, and then nothing. Now they're doing all the McLaren deals and like it's great, but in I feel like
almost with the McLaren stuff, because the McLaren wheels are actually reasonably priced, but they're almost of a design. I think you can almost go two different designs. You can go the very functional wheels, or you can go the very flashy wheels.
Yeah.
And I feel like the McLaren stuff, the brand McLaren is very flashy, but the wheel itself is quite plain.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really satisfy either audience.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So, C?
C.
No, maybe B.
B. Okay. B. Sorry, Asher, I said A.
SimLab.
Okay, so SimLab.
When I think of SimLabs, I think of peripherals more. I think more of like handbrakes and stuff and rigs and stuff.
The P1X, I think if it hadn't been for the P1X, this is a sweeping statement. I apologise to any rig companies. If it hadn't been for the P1X set what every rig is today.
Sure.
You know, when historians look back and be like, that was the first car that had everything in the correct place that we use today. I think the P1X laid the foundation for how rigs are made today.
Sure.
Do
Do you think that's still lasts now for sim racers? Do you think that helps their branding now, or do you think that's
no,
something
they are
forgotten?
branching out. They've got what, a DD. They've got their own
Yeah, they got
pedals.
a DD. Yeah. Are they the ones who are taking the technology from SimuCube for their DT?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love SimLab. Well, I don't use them much. But again, I've never heard a bad thing. They really did become the first sim racing shop, go-to shop. Fanatec were a brand, SimLab were a shop with other brands. Like, I mean, I think it's A tier for me.
I'm not sure what Mecha is.
I know, all I know is the Mecha Cup pedals. Let me just see if this is Mecha. Yeah, so, I mean, that's all I know. My teammate
Maybe
has
put
them.
it in NA, I guess, if we're...
Yeah, my teammate has them, but I don't know enough about Mecha to comment on them at all.
Sure. And finally, Camus.
Wait, didn't they make the... Again, this is going to be... Didn't they make a... We reviewed it on the podcast, I think. Camus...
Yeah, like, I've certainly heard of Camus.
Wheel, direct drive. I think it looked like the... Oh my God, that's the world's ugliest wheel. Sorry, I mean... Yeah, I sort of remember. I don't know, though. Jesus, that's ugly.
We can show it, I believe. Oh, no. Sorry. There you go.
I mean, I'm not wrong, right? That looks like...
Yeah, it doesn't look good. Isn't even space efficient.
What is that? Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing.
How much is that?
200 and something. So, yeah, it's well priced. I can't find the price. Oh, my God. How can On look even worse? Anyway, not bashing Camus. I don't know anything about them. I've heard of them.
Sure. I'll put them in C.
No, NA. Surely we can't
Okay.
form an opinion.
Sure.
If it's F or no opinion, I think. So yeah, let us know what you think.
So there you go. It's a weird list because we've got a lot on S. But I guess those are our biggest.
I mean, it makes sense, right? There's some heavy hitting brands there. We'll probably hear from Asatec and Ashar and Cube.
I mean, if we get stuff from them to prove us wrong, that's fine.
Okay, you heard it here first.
So yes, let us know what you thought of that. Back to us. Oh, also, I read. I missed this, but I just saw this on Reddit. Looked quite cool.
I saw this as well.
RC POV.
Using you can sit in a rig using VR and control this damn thing. This was the game we covered, right?
No, I think this is different. I think, at least from what I saw on Reddit, it was literally just a person saying, "Oh yeah, I'm creating like a little game."
Holy moly!
Made me think when I watched this how cool a good drone simulator would be.
Yeah, I think there isn't one on Steam. I saw someone playing
I
one.
did Google it, and there is one, but it doesn't. It's not hyper realistic. Like Unreal Engine is very good for that sort of realistic textures and stuff. But yeah, the one I saw, it didn't look amazing. But yeah, there's certainly something like that would be insane to do. Or pod racing from Phantom Menace, something like that would just be
yeah, that would be brilliant.
insane. Apex Racing TV, we've got a few clips. This is the worst bit of driving you'll see all year.
Not wanting to give up that 7th place.
And I'm trying to make myself feel less bad about highlighting it by saying this is part of his penalty.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh my god.
Mate, just stop.
A hole has been dug.
No.
It's getting deeper. Unfortunately, we finally do. You agree?
Honestly. unless 1.6k, that was just
Yeah, he was like 5k, I think. This is the start of the race in Heat 2. So some drivers had gone off in Heat 1, and it was quite interesting to see the amount of gravel. A couple of
Oh, I
drivers get on
know.
it and just understeer right out. And that was the first time I've seen. And of course, that's going to be something. Usually on a lap 1, that's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't usually have multiple races, but because we had 4 races in one session, meant that the gravel, which came from one race, carried over to the next.
Well, Le Mans is going to be the exception because iRacing. Well, I haven't driven Le Mans. We've got it coming up in a few weeks, but they said it was going to be a dirty track to start with.
Mm. Or at least on the Mulsanne, it's going to have, And finally, a crash. Oh yeah, so this was in the Rick Motec Mini-Mite Sports Car Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy was leading with on the last lap, but then had an issue. And you can see he was limping along here. And it actually cost Carlisle the race win. The incident that he was involved with was sort of coming because he's already hip-checked someone there. And I thought, oh, did he get a puncture from that? Nope, this is how he got the puncture.
Oh my God, man.
Sort of the GT4's fault. Obviously, you should stay on your racing line rather than getting out the way. But considering he had a big lead, it was over-aggressive from the LMP3.
Yeah, he wasn't driving like he had it in the bag. Oh, you've got the driver's split, let's see. Let's see. Oh, I mean, no.
Yeah, it
that's
was all the
completely the
GT4
GT4, yeah.
Yeah, he still finished P2. Did Kevin Carlisle, I think his name is. Apex Racing League, there should be a new series announced next week, so that'll be fun.
Awesome.
Looking forward
Are
to
you
that.
going to tease it, or are you just saying that?
No, I'm just saying that. That's
I'll
enough
tease
information for people.
Once I find out.
Sure. Thank you. any promotion. Apex Racing Team, Porsche. Really, the only thing that's happened with Apex Racing Team, of course, is the mega result from Daytona 24. Everything else obviously stops during Daytona 24 because it's such a big event. However, we have got Porsche GB coming up this Sunday.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Where is it? Donington.
Snetterton.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Good luck. You've done zero practice?
No, I'm like really taking this seriously. I've done probably about just over 2 hours of driving, I think, at Snetterton so far. Race 2 is going to be light rain.
Oh.
So we know well, not the forecast, but like it's been set with the timeline editor thing. So it's fixed. We know exactly what the weather's going to be at any time. So yeah, dry race 1, and then it'll be a wet race 2, light rain. And it's sort of all right, to be fair, Snetterton. It's I haven't driven a whole lot in the rain yet, but like it's interesting doing practice and just learning what lines you take the normal racing line on and what corners you take the rain line on. And
it takes a while for that to transition the line, so you can use the dry line in the wet while it's raining. Just remember that you don't transition straight away.
Yeah.
When you lock up and die, next time through, wet line.
Yeah, well, that's what I found is that pretty much every braking point, get off the racing line. Through the corner, you can stay on the racing line sometimes.
In my past, the telltale sign is when the track's declared wet, seems to be the iRacing, where you got about a lap and a half and then it starts feeling a lot harder. Just crank that bias down in the rain. Because end of the day, in the rain, if you lock, it's over. So, no locky.
Sure. So I think that's everything in the notes. Did you want to mention anything else? Thank you, Parkin.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, I can't do any worse than what I did last time, so
yeah,
I might try it. Yeah, anything else you wanted to mention?
No, obviously, I'm excited about, obviously, we've got the AC EVO roadmap out. I actually saw Rensport making some noise about updates, so we have to look into that next week.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. It's a change in landscape. We've got iRacing on the quiet now because they've succeeded with a lot of their new things, so now it's just about getting it all working. Obviously, we've got the new tyre model and everything on the horizon, but yeah, excited. Got a lot looked forward to. We've got PECC coming around, the NASCAR coming around. Feels like everything's coming around again.
For sure.
Yeah, all good.
Well, of course, we'll be back next week. Once again, last reminder to check out apexracingsim.com. There is a link in the description below for renting out simulators and, also buying hardware stuff as well for sim racing. Apexracingsim.com is a great place to go. But yeah, we'll see you back in 7 days' time. In the meantime, please leave a like on the video, recommend the podcast to your friends, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Ciao.